I have to address some significant issues with this whole red pill movement and what I'm starting to understand about it. I haven't paid attention to it for many years because I incorrectly assumed that people might be using the term in the correct way. And of course, the correct way is my way, but not really. The correct way that I realized using red pill analogies when I first began using it was back in 2013 when I wrote a series of blogs called Olympus Has Fallen Down the Rabbit Hole. And I actually recently, last year, well, I better wait till I get to a red light, red pill. Recently, last year, or was it earlier this year? Maybe it was late last year. But I published a book called Down the Rabbit Hole, Olympus Has Fallen, which expanded on that. Yeah, here it goes. Which expanded on that idea from those blogs and turned it into a longer book. And so here's why I say my understanding of the red pill is correct, and I believe that it has been co-opted by a bunch of idiots who are using it to spread all kinds of dumbassery, and I want to petition to the people who are using it to identify these people and show that they are actually blue pill morons and not, because the terminology of red pill is being used in a very incorrect way. So of course, when I said that Olympus Has Fallen Down the Rabbit Hole, I wrote these blogs on my website, Hypno Athletics, back in 2013. This was 14 years after the movie The Matrix. And for some time I wondered why, there was a red pill and a blue pill. And I didn't really know where that came from. But then, I was studying physics, and I realized something about the redshift and the blueshift of when Edwin Hubble, also a controversial figure, who basically confirmed through his observations that the universe is expanding because, related to the Doppler effect, frequencies, they tend to spread out or get further and fewer between as things move away. In sound, we know the Doppler effect from when we hear something far away starts out sounding low, right? So that sound, when it gets higher, is because the sound waves are coming to us faster and they're closer together, so we hear a higher frequency. And in this case, the higher frequency is a higher pitch. And so in the lower sound, that is when that's red, and when it's closer, it's blue, and again is red, right? Because the lower frequency is red, higher frequency is blue. Now, higher frequency in this case does not mean good, especially not in the way that I understand it from physics and in the Matrix necessarily, but when specifically applied to the Matrix and the pill form. Because the reason why in the Matrix, and I don't know if I've ever read this anywhere, I came to this conclusion myself, and what I mean when I say I don't believe I read it anywhere, meaning I don't believe I read it to confirm it anywhere afterwards, meaning I'm not sure if anybody else has made this connection. It's probably they did. It's basic physics, and there's a lot of people who study and understand a little tiny bit of physics like I do. So the red pill, when you take that, right, he gets out of the Matrix because it's the equivalent, it's the analogy to the universe expanding. The further away these different celestial bodies are moving away from each other and the light that's bouncing off of them is further and fewer between, it's red frequency. So you take the red pill to expand your mind and get out of the Matrix and then see reality for what it actually is. If you were to take the blue pill, you go back into the Matrix and you forget about the truth and reality, that because your world would be shrinking. Just like when the vehicle or the sound is coming towards you, it starts off low, expand and it shrinks because it's squeezing everything together. So blue pill should actually be the term assigned to all the idiotic and moronic people who are really spreading a lot of dumb, and I just don't even want to talk about it in this recording right now, but they're just doing a lot of really nonsensical things that are just racist and misogynistic and just very detrimental to the already fragile and disequalized social and political structures that we have to exist in the world. So to have a term that, in my understanding, should be given to people who are expanding our minds and doing good things for us, like when Morpheus gave Neo the red pill to expand his mind, like the universe is expanding, and therefore we get a redshift. And if you take the blue pill, it's because you're collapsing back into stupidity, back into the matrix, back into control and conformity and nonsense, a whole fake, illusory reality. That's what any kind of moronic stuff should be called. Not these whole red pill grifters and manosphere stuff and all that stuff. And I don't really know much about it. I just know that the things that I've heard attributed to people who would be considered red pill are not good, and I don't think that they should be attributed, that the red pill should be attributed to people who are just spreading dumbassery. That's my take on it, and that's where I stand on this. So I'm going to have to do more research and understand more about how the hell did red pill, the expansion of the mind from the matrix, because where else could it come from? The pill, I don't know. I'm just saying that it doesn't match up with me. But that's I don't know everything. I don't keep up with a lot of media. I learned recently, I just did a whole binge watching of John Oliver's Last Week Tonight to catch up on, some current events and politics, because I don't pay attention to it. So I don't know where this actually comes from, or if it even has anything to do with the Matrix at all. So I could be completely off. But to me, whenever I keep hearing all this red pill stuff, and then I see the people who are labeled as red pill, I just keep thinking to myself, no, that can't be right. There's something really, really wrong here. These people no, they're not the red pill people. They're not, those people who the red pill is being attributed to, they are not expanding your mind and getting you out of the matrix. They are close-minded, closing in, making your universe smaller. These ideas are archaic, especially when you talk about racism and misogyny and all of this backward stuff. That is matrix, illusion, fakery, simulation, pacified, fascistic, control mechanism, conformist, slave-making thinking. It is not what the red pill of the Matrix is. And so maybe if I have to insert this now into the intellosphere, the atmosphere of the internet and the world, because you're not getting it, and it's just completely mixed up. It's causing me problems psychologically. Not really. I'm just joking, being dramatic here, but if you go to hypnoathletics.com, you can read for free the blogs that I wrote about that are called Olympus Has Fallen, starting, I don't remember exactly when, in 2013. There's also an ebook for 99 cents on Amazon, but you can also read it for free if you already have a Kindle Unlimited account. And then the same thing with this book, Olympus, Down the Rabbit Hole, Olympus Has Fallen. And yes, yeah, I want you should buy my books and read them. They're actually good. They tell you stuff like what I just talked about and how ridiculous some of this thing is. I was using that term about the red pill and expansion of the mind. It was a very philosophical, very stream of consciousness set of blogs that I turned into a little booklet, and then I turned into a larger book, which the original blogs are in the newer version, the expanded version. It's at the end as like a foundational document. But let me tell you, the fact that it's being used and to label and to identify as an identifier for the certain group of people that I see being called red pill is wrong in so many different ways. Of the matrix, it just does injustice to getting your mind out of the matrix and expanding your mind, and it completely does injustice to what that's even probably more closely connected to, which is physics and what we can actually observe. The expansion is red, not the collapse. The collapse is blue. Things coming in too close to each other and crashing into each other. If the universe were shrinking, if we were experiencing a big crunch, which is one of the hypothetical scenarios of how the universe may end, then we'd see things coming toward each other and squishing back into a singularity, and that would be blue shift and blue pill, closing the mind. So it's no good that the red pill is being used in the way that it is. I'm Hakeem Ali Bokus Alexander.